I stumbled into a integrative family practice clinic, and I didn't think I was ever going to see adults again, but doing more of an integrative where people are more invested in their health was something I thought I could do. And it's totally changed my life because it's why I have the clinic I have now. And I can go into that if you like.
Yeah, I think that probably created a solid foundation for sure. So if anybody's not super familiar with like the whole integrative medicine side of things, what's your best description of it, your definition of it, and how does that sort of practice model differ from a traditional practice model?
So integrative is could be anything. I could say that I could learn how to do acupuncture possibly, or it could include hormone replacement, or it can be Ayurvedic medicine. So you can really take it as deep as you want to go. There's functional medicine classes that look at treating disease a whole different way. And so I really have only skimmed the surface in my integrative practice, but I found that just skimming the surface has helped so many more people than just using straight traditional medicine and never thinking beyond the box. And so it helps more people. I have a lot of happy clients. So.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And so you'd mentioned something about the integrative practice in Texas. What was your overall experience there? Who did you work under? And if you could just describe that a little bit.
Yeah, so it was a small clinic, and it was just a DO, Dr. Ely, and I was his first nurse practitioner, so we were both kind of learning how that was going to work out. And he did a ton of training, and unfortunately, I had to move back to Albuquerque. Kind of not on my timeline, but so I had to leave him, unfortunately, and I would have been able to spend many more years working there and learning more and more from him, because he where I've only skimmed integrative practice, he has gone deep dive into it. And but he was the reason when I looked at what I was going to do when I moved back, I knew I could never go back just to a traditional clinic where you could only do certain things, and I would never be allowed to incorporate these other modalities, and I wouldn't have the time in my appointments, honestly, to discuss them with patients. And so he has suggested that I open my own clinic, and I pretty much said, "What? Me? No, never." But the more I looked into it, and the more I read, and I looked into direct primary care, which is what I ultimately did. And when I found that, it really clicked, and I got really excited. And the rest is history, because that is what just catapulted me into doing this.
Gotcha. So you ultimately started Well Life ABQ Direct Primary Care. What year did you start that, and how was that sort of startup process? How did it look like for you?
So while I was still working in Amarillo and making my plans to move back, I read a few books and got motivated, and then I started a business plan, and I went step by step, section by section. I think that original business plan is 30 pages long. It might even be longer. But it really forces me, and anybody listening, I really encourage this as your homework, but it really forced me to consider every single aspect of the business, from the marketing, from what services I'm going to provide, from the cost to the business, like to the legalities of it. What kind of structure am I going to have? And as I went through it, instead of being discouraged, I became more confident that I could do this, because the business is just the sum of its parts. And so sorry.
Yeah.
When I moved back, I found a small office space, and in our IV Therapy Academy, we talk about doing a mobile business. That's the way some people start direct primary care as well, to keep overhead low. But I ultimately chose to get a small space, and I've since expanded. But the clinic opened almost exactly 3 years ago. So February 1st was our anniversary.